Since Satan began his rebellion in heaven, it has been his plan to overthrow God's law. Satan desires to lead us to break even one of the 10 Commandments. For whoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. We are now entering the last great battle of the war that Satan began in heaven against God's commandments. The battle is between the laws of men and the law of God, between Bible truth and human tradition. Today, many, even in the church, reject the great truths of the Bible, such as creation and the need to obey God's commandments. Every nation has laws. No government could exist without them. Is it reasonable to think that the Creator of the heavens and the earth has no law to govern the people He has made? Our nation has laws which protect the rights of its citizens. Imagine if popular preachers began to teach that the laws of the government took away the freedoms of the people and that we should not obey them. How long would the people accept those preachers? But what is worse, ignoring the laws of earthly governments, or trying to do away with God's law, which is the foundation of all government? If we want to know what things would be like if God's law were made void, then all we need to do is look back in history when atheism was ruling in France during the time of the Revolution. It was then shown that when God's law is set aside, Satan comes in to establish his power in the earth. The people are controlled by their lusts, and society is destroyed. The teaching that God's law has been done away with has opened the way for much evil to come into our world. Every type of sin imaginable is sweeping in on society like a flood. When the people see that the 4th commandment requires us to keep holy the 7th-day Sabbath, many are unwilling to obey, so they declare that God's law has been done away with. They just throw away God's law and His Sabbath together. But ironically, many of these same people claim that there is so much wickedness today because people are not keeping Sunday holy. They claim that enforcing Sunday observance would greatly improve the morals of society. And often, really good things are combined with the movement to enforce Sunday keeping, like temperance, family, and time for rest and recreation. Those pushing the Sunday movement claim that anyone who is against a law requiring Sunday rest is against families and against improving the morals of society. But just because something good is combined with something bad does not make the bad thing good. If you mix deadly poison with good food, it does not make the poison safe. It actually makes it more dangerous, because someone is more likely to eat the poison without realizing it. History shows that laws enforcing Sunday keeping lead to the restriction of religious liberty and persecution. No matter how good it may seem at first, we must see and understand the danger of enforcing Sunday rest by the civil law. And many churches still teach the error of the Roman Church, that the soul cannot die, and that the dead are not really dead. Because of this, many will have no protection against the dangers of spiritualism. Through these 2 great errors, the belief that the human soul cannot die, and the belief that Sunday is sacred, Satan will bring the people under his deceptions. These 2 teachings lead the people to accept spiritualism and the authority of Rome. The Protestants of the United States are accepting spiritualism and forming a joint effort with the Roman power. This union of Protestantism, spiritualism, and the Roman Church power will lead the United States to copy Rome's example and destroy the rights of conscience. Many church members love what the world loves, and Satan is working to join the world and the church together under the power of spiritualism. Through spiritualism, Satan will work miracles and heal the sick. Many will believe that it is the mighty power of God. But at the same time, Satan destroys many by leading them on to selfish indulgence. Satan also leads the nations to war against one another in violent destruction. As the Christian world has been showing increasing disrespect for God's law, God has been removing His blessings from the earth, and Satan has been gaining more and more control over nature to take away human life. Through tornadoes, hailstorms, floods, hurricanes, tsunamis, and earthquakes, Satan is hard at work. He sweeps away crops, leaving famines. Thousands die from deadly polluted air. These things are going to happen more frequently and with more severity, bringing destruction to both human and animal life. The earth mourns and fades away. The proud people grow weak. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. But Satan will lead men to think that these things are happening because Sunday is not being honored, and that Sunday observance must be strictly enforced to stop the judgments of God from falling. Evil spirits working through the power of spiritualism will lead the people to be angry against anyone who rejects the Sunday and keeps the Bible Sabbath. Many will accuse those who are keeping the seventh-day Bible Sabbath of destroying reverence for the Sunday and preventing God from giving His blessing and favor. Those who keep God's law will be accused as lawbreakers. When Satan first rebelled in heaven, he claimed that he was working to promote the stability of God's government, while in reality he was working to overthrow God's government. This is what the Roman Church has been doing for centuries. Rome claims to be God's representative on earth, but at the same time she works to exalt herself above God and change His law. Satan will use the same policy in this last great conflict. Satan will inspire people to fight against God's law and government, while they claim to be honoring God. God never forces the will or the conscience, but Satan first tries to seduce people to follow him in rebellion. And if that doesn't work, he then uses fear and force. Satan wants to control the conscience and receive the worship of the people. To accomplish this, he works through religious and government powers, leading them to pass human laws that are in opposition to God's law. Those who honor the Bible Sabbath will be accused as enemies of law and order, as enemies of the government, as bringing down the morals of society. And they will be accused of calling down the judgments of God upon the earth. The final warning message of Revelation 14 will be called hate speech, and those who keep all the commandments of God will be labeled terrorists. Lawmakers will yield to the popular demand for a law enforcing Sunday observance. Church and state will unite to bribe, persuade, or force the people to honor the Sunday, and liberty of conscience will be trampled in the dust. We shall soon see the dragon get angry and make war against those which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.